goat, let it goat. He's the best princess around. With his princess wand, he's doing magic things. And the redstone never bothered him anyways. La, la. Hey guys. Welcome back to another episode here from the Hermitcraft server. With your goat, Elsa. Goatelza. I don't know if there's even a name that exists that could describe what we see in front of us. Big shout out to Hamster OK. You know, I asked last episode if people would be down to make some Elsa skins because we're gonna embrace it now as Docky declared my base to be Elsa zone. Well, you guys delivered. There were countless super cool skins. It was really hard to pick one. In the end, I just randomized. I had like 5 or 6, and I just like, okay, this is it now. Bam, randomized, and yeah, loved them all to bits. Really cool. Yeah, wait, let's check it out. Let's go over there. Oh, we got to hurry. The server is about to restart in 3 minutes. No, that doesn't comply well with my rambly intros. What are we gonna do? All right, quick. Okay, wings off, and then, look at her. Even the blue Crocs. I love it. And, you know, a bit of frostiness in the eye and all of that. You know, the sleeves. I feel so fancy. I even made Frostwalker boots just for this occasion. Oh, but it's a good chance. Before we continue with the intro, I might be able to actually check on the atomic clock before the server actually restarts in 2 minutes, and then we'll see if it properly restarted everything. But right now, we should have this clock hopefully fully reset. Yes. Awesome. And yeah, it's just waiting to be reloaded here. Very, very good. I like that. Perfect. The chunk load is running, so it doesn't get newly reloaded. Okay. Then we quickly wait for the server restart, and then we talk about the plans for the day. I'm telling you, looks can be deceiving. I might look like a very friendly, icy queen, but the charity event is over. So buckle up, hot guy. Aha! Server just literally started 5 seconds ago. And yeah, that is confirmation once again that our server reload detector works, because there were some slight changes to the setup today. As you know, I always record my intro after the fact, so yeah, building of the episode and so on is already done. And yeah, I was not wearing the skin, right? I waited till the end of the week to give people a bit more time to contribute with their skins, and yeah, so most of the episode I'm not wearing it yet, but from now on we will rock it. What also rocks is of course always the fan art, and this one made me especially happy because yeah, Docky was super happy about that when I showed them, and they're like, oh god, that's me, look, I have little wings. Yeah, so here, by Lord Luxo, super cool, you know, about the story I told that I had to ride, you know, I went to the amusement park with Docky, right, on a weekend, and then Docky was obsessed with this tiny boat ride, super slow, and we had to ride it like a dozen of times, burn through all our fast passes for it. It was tiny, I was squeezed in there. Right, and this fan art is depicting this scene. It was super hilarious. Docky was counting elves. They spotted elves on the shores of the river, right? And it's like, let's go. And then I was assigned to starboard counting, and Docky had took care of the other side. And, you know, we scanned the whole area, counting the elves a dozen of times. Fun times. These are the memories you never forget. And it's beautiful to see it also being, yeah, fan artized, if that is a word. So thank you. Look at the lush hair, by the way, I'm having, right? Beautiful, beautiful, just like in real life. All right. So yeah, Thank you, Lotloxo, right? Links in the video description as usual. Thank you to everybody making this amazing Elsa skins. And yeah, let's get into the episode. So now, the charity event is over, right? The grace period is done. Now it's time to step it up again with Scar. And, what could be more evil than having a voodoo device that gives us control about his well-being on the server here? That's right. Giving the whole server access to such power. What could go wrong? So obviously, if we want to create a Weka Scar shop where, all the hermits would have access, punishing Scar for his misbehavior, right? First thing in order is, of course, a wireless connection, right? A wireless connection to, the Voodoo device. And, well, there's two options now. I could have a wireless system somewhere out there at the Voodoo device, right? And constantly, permanently load that. And then if something goes wrong with the wireless connection, I have to travel there. It's quite a journey and whatnot. So cleverly, I have the main complicated components here, where I can work with them. Right here is my radio station, pretty much is my antenna array and receiver and sender array, communicating with all my farms. And here I dug out a new spot, just perfect here, where we could put a receiver. And then we take this receiver, and if we go down here, I have a hole dug out already. We reach this portal here. And this portal is the chunk loader that keeps the antenna setup going. So it's a permanent chunk loader that is running all the time. So via here, we can actually get into the nether, And then from the nether, with clever chaining, which we will talk about later, we can traverse quite some distance and then, travel with the signal cleverly, because, when we send stuff through portals, we also chunk load. So, we can travel cleverly over far distances and send the signal then actually to the actual Voodoo device. And then it would be possible from all the way over there, which the storage, the shopping district is, to connect with my base. And then we connect, we communicate with the Voodoo device far away. So this is an intermittent station here, so to speak, right? So first thing we need, obviously, would be we need to build a receiver here and, wire that downwards, to talk to the portal there. So that's the first job we need to do. So let's get going. All right. Yes, I think we got something now. That was more tricky than I thought. So... I've been here for several hours, mostly troubleshooting, double checking, testing, making sure everything is 100% cool. And I'm thinking we are in a state now where we have something functional. So, here's our receiver. We have a receiver now. This receiver will be able to transmit signals or receive signals from anywhere on the server. At the moment, for testing purposes, I have it set to one of the frequencies of our senders here, just to test if actually a signal arrives. So I'm gonna aim here. When I flick this, we can start sending. It comes from here. It just transfers it to there, 2 blocks over, but it's still wireless. All right, and then we should see this turning on, and this whole shebang pushing down, going over to here into a dispenser that sits at this portal. That is also a chunk loading portal, by the way. This is our standard chunk loader here. So when I press upstairs now, here we shoot a snowball into this portal. And this snowball travels then several thousand blocks through different portals and is all linked, and eventually hits the portal of the Voodoo device. And when this happens, the Voodoo device gets chunk loaded for 15 seconds because, you know, an item comes to the portal of the Voodoo device, and that is enough time to send another signal through to actually turn on the Voodoo device. And then it's running and it's self chunk loading. So we only need to fire this arrow here once, or snowball, right? You send an item through, it's a chunk loader, but we send it through thousands of blocks. I'll show you the chaining in a sec. Okay, so now I am turning on the wireless transmitting. Okay, so now let's hope that, yes. Okay, we got a signal, this thing fired, we shot. Perfect. Okay, this is good. So right now, somebody would be at our shop, we will have later, and decide to torture Scar. There will be different options to do that manually for a certain amount of time, crowdfunding, and so on. Right, so but right now, this means somebody tortures Scar. So we're going. And now we need to check this here. Hopefully we don't pick up the arrow here now. I want to avoid that. Okay. Let's go through here to the nether, and then we can see one of the links. I don't want to show too many of the links, so we don't, give away the location of the Voodoo device. But here you see, here the snowball comes through, hits this target block, and it continues into another portal that has also snowballs and shoots through the portal again. And this portal then goes to a different thing, and we wire more, and there's all kinds of routing, and yeah, several stations in between, and eventually we'll make it to the Voodoo device. So now I need to continue sending the signal over and actually making sure we have a trigger over at the Voodoo device then as well. So we do two things. We send one snowball to the Voodoo device to tell them, hey, you're about to be turned on. And then when the Voodoo device knows, okay, I'm ready to be turned on, turn me on, and then we turn it on. So now I need to build a second line that will send a signal, or a second way to decode a signal that turns on the Voodoo device and tells them, hey, somebody wants to torture Scar, and make sure it's chunk loaded. Complicated stuff here, but I think I have figured it out now. This is like, there's a whole kind of craziness had to happen. Like, this chunk loader portal was actually before here. I had to move it a chunk over, so it's still working properly with our atomic clock here. And our chunk reloading detector, though, because it's entity based, I had to move over. So from our atomic clock before, our chunk reloading detector was up here, and now it's over there in the neighboring chunk, because everything scooted over by one. And everything is connected, and now we should be good. Now I need to continue my wiring and decode a signal to actually be able to tell the Voodoo device, turn yourself on. Alright, I looped a signal through all the way to the Voodoo device now. So now this is the deciding moment. Will we actually be able to send a signal over and reach the Voodoo device and tell it to do its thing. Okay, so this thing is running now. So now, we're sending signals through the portals. And now I will have to go through a longer journey through several portals and see if my signal actually made it all the way through. Alright, do I have some food? Yeah, here we are at the Voodoo device. And now let's see, I have a line coming in from a portal chain behind. Quickly fix that. Alright, so I have a line coming in from the portal chain behind the Voodoo device here, and it's on. Yes. Alright, this is very good. You might not think about this powered redstone line here much, but trust me, this being on is a big deal. I'm at the moment wirelessly transmitting a signal to a receiver, and then that receiver interdimensionally tells the Voodoo device it's about to whack Scar. And if I hook this up to the Voodoo device already here, at the Voodoo device I prepared something already. So I wired a certain torch tower, and that goes into Scar's arrow holder. That's Scar's arrow here. And yeah, if you flick that, that system will turn on and Scar torture mode is activated. So yeah, now if this is connected, we actually will be able to remotely trigger the Voodoo device from anywhere in the world. Yeah, and we're gonna put it into the shopping district, and yeah, hermits, can buy that service. All right, I wired all the way into the Voodoo device. Actually, now comes the deciding moment. Scar is not on at the moment, so we can test it, but it's hooked up to Scar's arrow. And if I send a signal now, that means we're at the shopping district, right? That's our shopping district placeholder, and we're activating the shop. And now we want to send a signal wirelessly and then interdimensionally all the way to the Voodoo device. So I'm going to switch this on now, and then we're going to rush back to the Voodoo device and see if that's actually up and running. Alright, fingers crossed. Hey, if anything goes wrong, we lose the arrow and so on. Bit of a tense moment here, not gonna lie. Alright. Yeah, I have everything wired correctly. Yeah, we should be good. Alright, let's do it. Alright, transmission starts. Here we go. Alright, and now over to the Voodoo. Oh, yep, that is promising. That is promising. We have a signal here. That's the signal coming in for the Voodoo. Yeah. Do we have an arrow? Yes. Okay, that is Scar's arrow cycling right there. Oh, we triggered it from thousands of blocks away. Okay, now comes the next crucial part, switch off. I have some spam protection installed here, trying to make it as safe as possible. Okay, yeah, let's rush back, turn everything off, and see if the machine actually properly turns off. Okay, this is a good sign already. We switched off, and now let's please see the arrow back in place. Yeah, that's it. That's it. Yes. Oh. Nothing else, no wind charges where they're not supposed to be or anything. Nope. We're good here. Oh my god, okay, I need to double check something. What is the armor situation currently? Alright. Yeah, we might have to throw in a few more. Just to be sure. Now when the device might be used more often. But that's it. Wow. I'm a bit... Okay, it worked. No problems. We managed to wirelessly connect the Voodoo device. Oh my god. That is brutal. So welcome to the sprawling shopping district, which is continuously evolving and getting better. Man, oh man, here. Falls opened up a shop here, and there's all kinds of stuff available. I read through it a little bit, but misc and limited products, glow ink sacks, bamboo, string, and yeah, especially the ink sacks, of course, are good. Thank you for shopping at Fall Smart. Banners are here too, custom banners, right? So 3-floor shopping bonanza here. I always love these glowy hanging signs. Glow ink, yeah, they're really cool, actually. Glow signs are cool. And here is the world famous bouncing bamboo. Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff available here. Small stuff and, yeah, different crafted items and so on. So pretty cool. So the shopping district is coming alive. I'm saying here is the prime real estate. Over there, Beef has a swap market. I think you can swap out stuff, and trade up, kind of. But yeah, here's the bank, and here's the best shop in the whole shebang, obviously. What the heck? That wasn't here yesterday. Okay. Yeah, here's the bank, and here will be Whack a Scar. Yeah, coming soon. So we got to start working on the project. I cleared out a little bit of space down here. That should be enough to squeeze in some redstone. Brought a bunch of shulker boxes with redstone goodies and whatnot. Well, and obviously we need a sending unit here, right? Now we have everything set up that our base is able to receive signals from all over the Hermitcraft server to torture Scar. And yeah, now we will build one of these sending stations. One, though, that is publicly available for all hermits. And yeah, it will have different modes, right? You can actively hit Scar and just stand there, and then he will be punished depending on your hitting. Then, of course, there will be a certain time you can buy, let's say 5 to 10 minutes of non-stop him being tortured. And then, of course, there's a crowdfunding goal. You know, to turn it on permanently. Perfect. All right. So, with that said, yeah, let me do some redstoning down in the hole, and then we can do a test and see if we can actually transmit a signal from here to the torturing machine, and then, yeah, everything else is just decoration, right? Okay, a bit of redstoning later, and yeah, the guts of the shop, I think, are done. Where do we start? Where we start? Probably at the entrance. So, you know, there will be a path leading up into here towards the door, and I wanted to do a classic jab door. I haven't done one of those in a while. So obviously, you know, here there will be blocks and all. This is all the naked redstone right now. But right, door would open. And we can enter the inside of the shop here. And then door closes. If you want to get out again, we do the same thing. Shebang, shebang. All good. Then we have several options here in the shop. So the first option is, and that's going to cost 1 diamond block, yeah, you can actively hit Scar. The time for that needs to be determined. But pretty much what happens is, you know, you have to stand here, then Scar pops out of the ground, and then you can literally hit him for a fixed amount of time, right? Ooh. Wait, let me... And when you do that, right, you activate the transmission here, so that means now actively the Voodoo device would be triggered on, and we will test the connection later. I have a redstone broken out now, not that the Voodoo device now jumps on and off and we break something also in an uncontrolled manner. But yeah, that is for a set amount of time, so now it turned off again. Here, that amount of time can be determined down here. At the moment, it's 32-ish items or so, so roughly a minute. And of course, we can extend that time. So pay good attention to the times. And maybe you can give good feedbacks how long these times should be. I feel like this 1 minute being able to hit him here is a bit, you know, it's not enough buck for the bang. It's going to cost a diamond block. So maybe we go for like 3-ish minutes here. That would be my suggestion, but let me know what you guys think. But wait, because there's other options. All right, so this is that. Then we have the next option. We have, yeah, pay for a prolonged amount of time, and the machine does its thing by itself. You don't have to stand here and hit actually Scar. It just punishes him. This is set to cost 8 blocks, 8 blocks of diamond. Well, right now I'm working with moss here, and this would do a fixed amount of time. So if this is 1 minute, and or 2 minutes or 3 minutes, and this costs 8 times more, but you get the additional pleasure of not having to be here. You can actually go and look for Scar and watch him suffer. So that costs a bit more. You know, it's enjoyment, right? So I'm thinking here we're looking maybe at 10-ish minutes, 15 minutes, something like that, right? And then you would pay your 8 diamond. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It only works if you pay 8. And, you know, it sucks it up then. Checks, boof, and then triggers. And then stays on for a set amount of time. Here you go. You can see it running right now down there. And that is controlled by this clock here. At the moment, we have like 1 stack and 20 or something in there. So, you know, it gives a bit like 3-ish minutes or so. So yeah, but we can definitely prolong that, right? It should definitely be more. So this would be the continuous damaging. Keep in mind when this is activated, right? He would take damage in any dimension for 15 minutes. He would constantly die, die, die. Oh, there's nothing he can do to stop it. So when you mention some times and things here, keep that in mind too. I mean, yeah, there is the nuclear option. We're going to talk about that in a second. Here you can see these 3 lamps. Those are connected to the nuclear option. So yeah, let's quickly let this clock run back over. And this one I'm talking. There's a bunch of clocks in here. All right. And now we're switching off again. Right, so this is a fixed amount of time and it just does its thing and it punishes him. And then there's obviously the crowdfunding goal. So the crowdfunding goal pretty much is it costs a stack of diamonds and then, the thing will turn on and it can only be turned off by letting me know. Then I can turn it off again, but technically that would be that's the nuclear option though. It needs to be available, right? And then we have here progress lights. That is not fully finished yet. I need to quickly rush back and grab a crafter here to insert a certain power level. But we have this thing here, and then when this thing is completely filled, right? So let's throw this stack in. So, oh yeah, I am missing a comparator here. Let me quickly grab that. It's to be put in there. Good that we quickly tested that. And when the crowdfunding goal would be reached, then the machine is infinitely turned on. So, all right. So yeah, we're going up with power levels. This would be at roughly half, and then if we reach full level, this goes on. It's just not fully wired. As I said, I need to subtract power level 2 here. Need to grab a crafter. But yeah, let's toss a whole stack in there, right? Then this thing would be full. Bonk. Right, and now the transmitter stays on constantly. Obviously the area is just cleverly chunk loaded via the chunk loading grid we have over there. And now comes a big moment. Let's quickly fly back to our base. Right now it would be a server ban mode. And yeah, let's fly back and see if we actually receive a signal wirelessly. And then if we know we make it to our transmission station in the base, we for sure know then it also makes it all the way out, thousands of blocks away to the Voodoo device, right? So now fingers crossed that we have reception, but I don't foresee any issues. I mean, the wireless connection's working now. We figured it out completely. This is a reliable system. We cannot mess around either. The Voodoo device, we cannot screw that up and have inconsistent signals and whatnot. But okay, let's have a look here. And yes, okay, yeah, the receiver is set to we're starting here. Yeah, that's good. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the frequency we're looking for. And yeah, we're actually getting a signal. So this signal here, this blinking here, that keeps this alive, and therefore would now also keep the Voodoo device running, comes from the shopping district now. So we have a wireless connection to command center here. By the way, the clock, the repositioning of the reload detector was no problem. The atomic clock is running stably. All farms are running stably too. So, yeah, that works. We actually have a wireless connection all the way to the shopping district. And, now it's time for some cosmetics, I think. And make the place look a little bit more snazzy and more, in your face. Perfect. Now, we know who we can whack. Now we just need to let people know that you can actually whack here. You know what I mean? Kind of a key feature. Otherwise, it's just, oh, cool, there's a nice scar head. All right. We need signage. Yeah, I think that's big enough. Whack a scar. Maybe we need a funny arrow pointing down on top of it. If you think back to the beginning of the season when Scar was looking for a hero to help him fund the building off or the terraforming here of the shopping district. Yeah, this design might look a little bit familiar. You know, I mean, he's an inspiring builder and he's good at sign design. So why not use his design to get his whackage? I'm loving it with the wonky exclamation mark there. Yeah, perfect. And then, we hook it up to the head like that. And then, of course, bunch of work needs to be done with the interior design and everything here, of course. But, then we get the rough structure here and I build around, blend it all in, the sides of his head, and then, more beautification until we reach a satisfying detail level as we have here in Wacker Schalke, where we can say, yeah, it's done. But, we're getting there. We are getting there. It looks glorious, and you can't miss it. And especially here, this new bank he was building or something, there's diamond ores. It's right there. Yeah, how does the backside look? I tried to make it look not too horrible. Right, it's, it has this, maybe we can build up a little bit further here with our brackets or so to break up the backside a little bit, but in the end, it's alright. Falsey has this cool image here. Done with maps. Okay, that's actually pretty cool. With banners, I mean. That's actually pretty cool. Yeah, technically, yeah, here could also be shops, right? So you don't want to make it like super ugly. So maybe, yeah, but it's not the worst. We can put something here, maybe some graffiti or something. We'll figure it out. Maybe, or some leafage growing up there so it looks a bit better. We'll blend it in. But the front already looks glorious. I love the wonky lights attached to it. Oh, wait, this one needs to go. There's one light too many up there. Yep, that was for me stacking up. That needs to be gone. Then, though, we should be good, right? Come here. Let's look at it again. Yeah, nice. It's getting dark a little bit. I have some lights hidden behind some trapdoors there. So, yeah, it also retains a nice readability. And I like the font. It looks a bit wonky and crooked and just a scar. Represents him well, I'm thinking. I'm pretty pleased with this. Alright, so now, we need to go into detailing phase, do the interior, and so on. And you guys need to give me feedback, right, about the prices. So once again, as a quick reminder, right, so we have hit Scar for yourself for a while. Pay 8 blocks of, this is 1 block of diamonds, pay 8 blocks of diamonds to torture him for a prolonged amount of time without having to be here. Or, the crowdfunding, I guess that stays. 64 diamonds, blocks of diamonds, and then the bar will be filled and the thing turns on permanently. Yep. But yeah, for those, especially we need the time frames. How long should these run for the amount of money I was suggesting, or diamonds? And then, we can stitch that together. And then we should have another nice shop here. Alright, it's this time again though. We slowly but surely got to wrap up the episode, but I forgot to mention one thing. While explaining the redstone here, if you didn't doze off, you maybe wondered why is there, a jukebox integrated in the setup. Well, here is where you guys come in play. So, when the active hit scar thing will be activated, that means when the scar pops out and you hit him, automatically records will be triggered, playing. And on these custom records, I want to put sounds, scar sounds. He has these famous quotes like, "Oh my god, something is banging me. What's happening? Oh, him being scared or in despair." Right? There's plenty of examples out there. And feel free, to go around and look for such examples. Best there is no background music or anything like that, right? So I can work with the files and post it over on Reddit. Maybe you guys can get a little bit organized. So somebody makes a thread and said, let's collect audio samples for Doc here. And then you just link to videos, right, with timestamps also. So I can collect a few scar in distress sounds to put on here. I think that would be hilarious, actually. So if you want to get involved, I have a few already, of course, but there is always more and better. So if you want to get involved with that, I would greatly appreciate that, right? Why is there a free guest? I recognized it yesterday. There was this roaming guest here. Why is it here? Also looks like Falls wants to expand to over here. Like she contacted me. It's like, is this thing next to my place like temporary, or it's like, no, actually I have it there because it's in the chunk loading grid and it's my new shop. It's like, oh crap, I was planning to expand to over here. Unfortunately, she didn't kind of mark out the area and I was not aware. So that's really, that sucks. I didn't want to step on anybody's toes. I kind of, mentioned already before that I wanted to expand to over here. And then when Forsey built there, and as I didn't claim the area, I thought, oh, well, it's okay. So I was actually pretty happy that this chunk was still open. But now turns out maybe Falls had more plans here. But it looks like she was able to claim a bigger area back there. So that is fine. I cannot really move this thing now, man. It's also, it has to be here kind of strategically because of the chunk loading grid, right? It's sitting right here, so this was pre-planned, so this area is properly loaded here. I don't want to throw in random chunk loaders everywhere and load another area, because obviously, if we want to send from here, right, and the Hermit would, for example, choose, I don't know, like automatic punishment here, right, and then they would go look for Scar, they would leave here, unload the area, and that would disconnect, so it has to be chunk loaded. So, as I had this chunk loader here with Whacker Shulker already, it just picked the spot. So yeah, but yeah, talk to Falsey, we sorted it out. She was a bit surprised that thing popped up here overnight, pretty much. I hammered it out in a day shift, so to speak. But yeah, that's just, how this shopping district works here, right? It's a bit unpredictable. It will be this chaotic, crazy place. I will maybe also try for the backside here of the sign, maybe put a little bit of a different color. So, Scar, I didn't recognize Forsey has the same color scheme here. Amazingly, she has this painting back there that breaks it up a bit. But yeah, that blends together quite a bit. So maybe I'll try to adjust the backside of the sign here a little bit color-wise. But yeah, we're not done yet, right? It will be more detailed, and it's a small thing to change the back. So Falsey's building doesn't get swallowed up by that. You have to consider things like that too, of course. And yeah, I just didn't expect False was expanding to the side, because normally we just mark it out. So yeah, but things are okay. Hopefully this will be sorted out, and yeah, False seems to have found some new building space over behind there to expand, so that's cool. I mean, potentially I could have also gone, I guess, somewhere over here. That would have required another chunk loader, but I didn't want to put the giant sign kind of in the middle here to block off the view of the bank too much, right? Like if you have such more bigger things, you want to put it out on the sides of the shopping district so it's not blocking everything, right? So yeah, it's always tricky. Like the shopping district is bound to be chaotic, and there will be, yeah, some situations where people be like, crap, okay, I wanted to build there, whatever. Then you got to be flexible, you know. I mean, it happens. But yeah, this should look in the end look really cool, and we make sure to make a nice transition here into Falsies area and make sure this two places are kind of coexisting in a nice way and not kind of interfering with each other. And I'm thinking we're on a good path to get there. Very good. So yeah, with that said, contribute. Find me some Scar in Distress sounds, and yeah. With that said, the ally. How is this like? Who's that? Comment of the week. And yeah, here by Peter Wood saying, seeing all the Hermit's reactions to the Baby Beat-Ups paintings this week, it has been hilarious. Yeah, I'm really happy how this all played out. That's why I didn't go too overboard spamming paintings everywhere. I mean, there's some still to be discovered, and I might carry them around with me, you know, and slap a few down here and there, but it was really cool to see how Hermits discovered the sites in different ways, right? Some on live streams, some here and there. It was really fun, and a little quest, you know, for the community to look for, other Hermits finding these paintings, right? So it was a little quest to check out other Hermits too, as we do. So yeah. On the way back, right, really cool. Look at, I think that is, you cannot miss Scar's new video. He was doing some magic up there, I'm thinking. Built the whole galaxy or what, a whole planet. But it looks so cool with Voxy now. You have this great, I mean, yeah, this server, man, it's just crazy. And then you fly over here, Mount Doom, right, and then also now Goat Tower, the home of Elsa is coming in view. Oh man. Can't wait. I saw a really good comment. Somebody saying we should build some crystals and stuff up there, symbolizing that the energy of the earth around, the green power energy, is sucked out and channeled up into the tower in this crystal. And that is how our magic works, how we drain life out of the surroundings and froze it all up. I love that suggestion really much, and yeah, we're looking for something like that lore-wise, and I'm pretty sure we soon will continue with that too. So yeah, with that said, let it go, guys. It's time to say bye-bye. Tune in the stream tomorrow, and it will be glorious, I'm feeling, because yeah, it always is. See ya. Bye.